Nobody tells you how heavy a number can feel. Not a big number, not a million, not even 100,000, just $10,000. A number that sounds almost small when you say it out loud. But for most Americans between 20 and 30 years old, that number sits out there like a wall, something they can almost see, almost touch, but never quite reach. This is the story of how one man got there and why the road nearly broke him before it made him. Ryan Callahan was 26 years old and living in Columbus, Ohio. He had a studio apartment on the east side of the city, $910 a month, one window that looked directly into the brick wall of the building next door, a second-hand couch he'd found on Facebook Marketplace for $40, a kitchen table that wobbled if you pressed too hard on the left side. He worked at a property management company. Administrative work, data entry, answering emails, filing maintenance requests. His salary was $36,000 a year. After taxes, after his health insurance premium, after the parking fee they took directly from his check, he was bringing home about $2,400 a month. Here's where that money went every month. Rent, $910. Car insurance, $142. Phone, $85. Utilities, averaged around $90. Groceries, maybe $250 if he was careful. Student loan payment, $210. Gas, $90. Subscriptions he kept forgetting to cancel, $37 he didn't even notice leaving. Do the math. That's roughly $1,874 out the door before he bought a single thing he actually wanted. He had about $500 a month left over, sometimes less, never more. He wasn't in crisis. Not technically, but he wasn't okay either. He was in that invisible middle zone that millions of Americans live in, and nobody makes documentaries about. Not poor enough to qualify for help. Not comfortable enough to breathe easy. Just running every single month. Running to stay in place. His savings account had $412 in it. That was his entire financial cushion, his entire margin for error. $412 between him and a genuine problem. It was October when Ryan started paying attention to what was actually happening to his money. He'd had a tire blowout on the highway outside Columbus, pulled over on I-70 at 7 in the morning, semi-trucks blasting past him, rain coming sideways. The tow cost $90. The new tire cost $160. By the time he got to work, 2 hours late, his savings account had $243 in it. He sat in his office chair that morning and something shifted. Not a motivation poster kind of shift, more like the cold, quiet kind. The kind where you realize that the way things are going is simply not going to work. So he started looking. The first thing Ryan tried was delivery driving, DoorDash, weekends and a few evenings after work. It seemed simple. He had a car. He had time. He'd heard people talking about making an extra $500-600 a month doing it. His first weekend, he made $64 after gas. After the wear on his car, he was mentally calculating in the back of his head. $64 for 9 hours of driving around Columbus in the rain, navigating apartment complexes that didn't label their buildings, getting dinged by the algorithm every time an order was slow. He kept at it for 6 weeks. His best month was $308. His worst was $180. He was making money, but he was also exhausted. He was working his office job 40 hours a week and then spending his only free time in his car. And the money was real, but it was all tied directly to his time. The moment he stopped driving, the money stopped. He realized something for the first time. Not every way to make extra money is actually equal. Some ways trade your time for dollars, and that's the end of the deal. He wanted something that could grow. He just didn't know what that looked like yet. In December, Ryan found Fiverr. He'd been good with Excel his whole career. Pivot tables, data cleanup, formulas his coworkers didn't know how to build. He'd never thought of it as a skill somebody would pay for outside of a job. But there it was. People charging $30, $50, $80 to clean up spreadsheets and build reporting templates for small businesses. He made a profile on a Saturday morning, spent 3 hours getting it right, listed one service, Excel data organization and cleanup starting at $35, hit publish, then waited. For 12 days, nothing happened. He refreshed the app probably 400 times over those 12 days. Nothing. No messages, no orders, not even a profile view that he could track. He he started to feel that familiar sinking feeling, the one that whispers, maybe this isn't for people like you. Maybe the people making money this way had something you don't. On day 13, an order came in. A woman running a small bakery in Nashville needed her sales data organized and summarized by month. It took Ryan 4 hours. He charged her $35. She left a 5-star review that said, organized, fast, professional. We'll hire again. $35 and 5 stars. He screenshot that review and looked at it more than he'd like to admit. By February, Ryan was making between $250 and $400 a month on Fiverr, slowly building reviews, slowly raising his prices. He was up to $55 per project. His savings account had crossed $1,000 for the first time since he'd opened it. And then March happened. His car needed a new alternator, $840 at the shop. Wiped out everything he'd saved since October. He sat in the waiting room of the auto shop for 3 hours, staring at his phone, watching his account balance drop in real time as the charge cleared. All those late nights, all those weekends in his car doing deliveries, all those Fiverr projects squeezed into lunch breaks and after work hours, gone. In one afternoon, he drove home from the shop in a car that now worked and felt completely hollowed out. He ordered cheap takeout, sat on his second-hand couch in his studio apartment, and genuinely asked himself if this was ever going to actually change, if he was just going to keep running this same loop forever. Work, earn a little extra, something breaks, back to zero. Work, earn a little extra, something breaks, back to zero. This is the part nobody posts about on social media. This is the part that stops most people. Not the starting over that everyone talks about like it's inspirational. The actual experience of starting over, when you're tired, when it's the third time, when you're sitting alone in a 900 square foot apartment wondering if you're the problem. Ryan almost quit. He told his friend Dominic that he was thinking about dropping the Fiverr stuff entirely. Dominic said nothing profound. He just said, "You already know how to get clients now. That's the hard part. Don't throw that away." Ryan didn't respond, but he didn't quit either. April. He went back to Fiverr. He also did something he hadn't done before. He raised his prices again to $75 and reached out directly to 3 small business owners he found through a local Columbus Facebook group. Offered to do 1 free sample report. No obligation, just to show what he could do. 2 of them ghosted him. 1 responded, a guy named Marcus who ran a small landscaping company and had no idea what his actual profit margins were because his spreadsheets were a disaster. Ryan spent a Saturday cleaning them up, built him a simple monthly dashboard, sent it over for free. Marcus looked at it for 1 day, then hired Ryan for an ongoing monthly project at $200 a month. 1 client, recurring, $200 a month just to maintain and update 1 spreadsheet. Ryan sat with that for a while because it changed something in his understanding of how money could work. Not a one-time payment, not trading a single hour for a single dollar, a relationship, a system, something that paid him every month because he'd built something genuinely useful for someone. He started looking for more clients like Marcus, not one-off projects, ongoing relationships, business owners who needed someone reliable and didn't want to hire a full-time employee. By June, he had 3 recurring clients, revenue from Fiverr and direct clients combined, just over $900 a month, on top of his day job. He wasn't rich, he wasn't even comfortable, but for the first time, his savings account was growing instead of shrinking and bouncing. The summer was the grind season. Ryan cut almost everything. No vacations, packed lunch every day, canceled 2 of the subscriptions he'd finally noticed, picked up 2 more small clients, a florist in Dublin, Ohio, and an online reseller who needed inventory tracking. He was working evenings and Saturday mornings consistently. There were weeks where he was so tired he fell asleep at his kitchen table with his laptop open. Weeks where a client sent back work with revisions that felt unfair, and he had to respond professionally when what he wanted to do was just walk away. 1 client in July canceled their contract with 24 hours notice because they'd hired someone internally. That was $300 a month gone overnight. He spent 2 days feeling it before he found a replacement guy, but something was different now. Losing a client hurt less than losing that Alternator money had, because he understood that he could replace the client. He had the skills, he had the track record, he knew how to find the next one. That knowledge That quiet confidence that he could rebuild, that was new. That was something the first 6 months had built in him without him fully noticing. September 14th, Ryan was sitting at his kitchen table on a Sunday morning, coffee going, laptop open. He was updating one of his client dashboards when he opened his banking app out of habit. His savings account showed $10,217. He didn't celebrate. He didn't call anyone. He just sat there and looked at the number for a long time. He thought about the tire on I-70. He thought about the alternator. He thought about the 12 days of silence on Fiverr when he was sure nothing was ever going to happen. He thought about Marcus and the landscaping company and the Saturday he worked for free on a bet that it would pay off. 11 months, $10,000, and a version of himself that he didn't have access to in October of the previous year. Here's the thing about the first $10,000 that nobody explains. The money isn't really the hard part. The hard part is everything that happens while you're trying to make it. The self-doubt that shows up around month 2 and never fully goes away. The setbacks that feel designed specifically to stop you at the worst possible moment. The exhaustion of doing real work on top of a real job with no guarantee that any of it is going to add up to anything. The first 10,000 is hard because you're building two things at the same time, the money and yourself. And the version of yourself that gets built in the process is actually worth more than the number in the account. Because here's what Ryan found out almost immediately. Once he had $10,000, the next 10 was different. Not easy, but different. He had savings to weather the setbacks instead of getting wiped out by them. He had clients who referred him to other clients. He had confidence that wasn't theoretical anymore. It came from experience, from proof. The first 10,000 teaches you how money actually works, how to earn it outside of a job, how to survive losing it, how to find it again, how to build systems instead of just trading hours. Every dollar in those first 10,000 came with a lesson attached that no finance book ever actually teaches. Ryan still lives in Columbus, same city. Different apartment now, one with a window that actually shows the sky. His freelance income crossed $2,000 a month consistently before the year was out. He's not done. He's nowhere near done, but he crossed the wall. And if you're still standing in front of yours right now, still in the running to stay in place zone, still watching your savings account bounce between 0 and something, just understand one thing. The first 10,000 is supposed to be this hard. It's not a sign you're failing. It's the cost of becoming someone who knows how to build. And once you pay it, you never go back to 0 the same way again.